Good morning.
Good morning.
Today is May 19th, 2011. I'm sorry, May 21st. Sorry. May 21st, 2011, Saturday. I'm interviewing Mr. Rathin Chaudhuri.
I'm Rathin Chaudhuri.
Rathin Chaudhuri. Now, Rathin Babu, what's your desh?
Now or
no, when people ask you what's
my country now, US.
But
I was from Bangladesh.
Okay, thank you for saying. Actually, we are making this interview in New York. But where in Bangladesh?
In Chittagong, Bangladesh.
And where in Chittagong?
Chittagong, our village home was in Rathin. That was the constituency of notorious Fazlul Kader Chaudhuri.
Okay.
And his son is now called Saka
Salahuddin Kader Chaudhuri,
another notorious person.
Those who involved in murdering Hindus and others,
yes,
right?
Yes.
In 71.
Yeah, let me tell you a bit about Rathin, our village home. And in that constituency of Fazlul Kader Chaudhuri or Faka Chaudhuri, there are about 40 to 50% Hindus. And in that election, prior to the war, 1971 war, for the first time after many times, he got defeated. And he was upset with the Hindus, and during the crisis he took up on the job of killing Hindus and driving them away from
you mean the crisis of 1971, the Bangladesh
war,
Bangladesh liberation, Bangladesh independence movement. Now, can you tell me a little bit about your village?
Yes.
What kind of village was it?
The village is called Union Number 10. The name is Purbo East Gujarat.
Purbo East?
Purbo Gujarat.
Purbo Gujarat.
Okay. And there were about 60% Hindus in that union. And if you want, I can give a bit of background on what happened.
Please.
Okay, on the 25th of March, you were in town. We have a family property we had in town. It's in the financial district called Khatunganj in Chittagong. Yeah. On the 25th March, when they were firing by the soldiers all over the city, next morning, we all left city and went to the village home, and so did we. So we went there. Then there we lived about a couple of weeks. Then what happened there? All the Muslims nearby, used to be our friends, but they started coming on to us, and they said, "Well, we will protect you, but you have to give us some money." And then different groups started coming to us and take money. We were giving money to whatever we had to different groups. And after a certain time, it was all driven behind the scene by Faka Chaudhuri,
Fazlul Kader Chaudhuri.
He's
the
dead
Muslim
now.
Gentleman. Yeah.
Right. Now, then eventually they came, we can't protect you anymore. You have to convert to Muslim religion.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
And many of these peoples were known to us. They used to work for us. Some friends, some used to work for us.
Okay.
And these were all instigated by Fazlul Kader Chaudhuri. And anyway, when they told us we have no choice but to convert, at that point we had no choice but to leave. So we left at the dead of night.
Approximately what month?
It would be in I think first week of April.
First week of April. So just within a few days of crackdown.
Right. Then we left and home at the deep night without letting them know that we were leaving. So we left home, and families were segregated. Children segregated from parents, and my parents were somewhere and you were somewhere, and our kind of thing. Then every group in individual groups were on their own. Then we went to some Buddhist was protected, they were safe. Yeah. So we went to some Buddhist house first. From there, then we started walking towards the border.
How far was the border? Tripura border, right?
Yes, it was called Sabrum border, Sabrum and Srinagar,
Yeah.
and that is our nearest border. And it was 55 miles from Rathin.
Not close.
No. So we walked 3 days, 3 nights.
Oh my God.
And on the way, we took shelter of even some good Muslims. They gave shelter and kind of thing. So all Muslims were not bad, but most of them were bad.
Yeah. Now, sorry.
So anyway, so we went to the border and we had to cross the border.
So you stayed in refugee camp there?
Well, in Tripura we stayed for a few days. Then we had relatives in Calcutta. We took train from Agartala in Tripura, and it took 3 days and nights. We came to Calcutta.
Who paid for the trains?
Well, at the border, luckily, we had some relatives. We met some relatives who had some money. We borrowed from them.
Okay.
Later, we paid them back.
Okay. Now, how many of you were...
I must mention one thing. We left in one piece of cloth.
Okay.
One lungi and one shirt.
Oh my gosh. Now, how many were you with you? That means your parents and children?
Yeah, we met all at the border. Luckily, we were about 11 or 12 in my family.
Okay.
So we all went together to Calcutta. Then we lived at I had a sister there. We lived in their house, and they used to live in Noihati. We used to live there, and we used to collect a ration doll from Salt Lake refugee camp.
Okay.
I like to show you some things at this point.
Please.
This is a bag that I used to carry around in 1971.
Can you lift it up a little bit more?
Yeah,
Yeah.
With all the documents.
Oh.
It's a 40 years old bag, and this is a big bag. And within this, there are a small bag and other documents. This is a small bag that I used to carry around, and there are some documents here. And these small bags have, Sialda Noihati train, if I can open it.
Train monthly?
A schedule.
Oh, schedule.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just saving all this.
Oh, yes. We should save it in a museum.
And and I have got copies of all this. You can see, and this is 40 years old.
Yes.
So this is a small bag also I used to carry around, and
That
this
was your only possession.
yeah, this is small bag used to went into the big bag that I showed earlier,
Yeah.
and this one. So these things are, to me these are very valuable memories.
Precious, very precious.
Very precious.
That's your identity.
Identity, and this remind me what we all went through at that time.
Yeah. Now,
And I'm safekeeping. I made copies of those to give to you.
okay.
And
I
I'll
appreciate it. Now, I should have asked you, you are an accountant, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you started from nothing. So you have come up. You live in a very, very wealthy, prosperous suburb of New York City in Long Island. So it's really talks a lot about it. Now, tell me a little bit about your background. What did you study? Did you study in...
I studied in Chittagong University. I was a teacher professor there for 3-4 months.
Okay.
Prior to my coming to London, England, where I studied chartered accountancy.
Okay.
I'm a chartered accountant.
Yeah.
I lived in London, England until 1980 for 5 years. Then I moved to Canada.
Okay.
I am a Canadian citizen too.
Oh.
And I lived in Canada for 20 years.
Oh.
Then finally I moved to USA in 1998.
90. So it's
Yeah.
rather recent.
So
Now, where does your brothers and sisters live now?
my brother and sister, they're in between India, Calcutta and Bangladesh.
So they migrated and moved after 71?
After 71, yeah.
Oh.
I have 3 sisters in Calcutta and 2 sisters are still in Bangladesh.
Okay.
My brother is half in India, half in Bangladesh. Still
Okay.
is kind of thing.
Yes. Now, tell me. So, as you came to Calcutta, and how was your life like?
During that time?
During that time.
Oh, it was terrible. I have experienced how poor people live. We slept on the footpath on our way to my sister's house. We lived 24 hours on only 3 cups of tea and a rose biscuit. And we didn't have anything. And so after we reached our sister's house, they were not very well to do. So we had to collect dole ration from Salt Lake camp. I used to go once a week, every morning, with one of my nephews, my sister's son, and collect all the things they were giving.
Okay.
And carry on my shoulder, walk 5 miles from Ultudang gas station to Sialda ration camp.
Okay.
Then took a train to go to Noihati back.
Yeah, Noihati is in the northern suburb. Northern suburb on the east bank of Ganga or Hooghly River.
Apart from that, we were, when I had other times, we were walking all around Calcutta University and other places, trying to help and organize the Bangladesh government. We had a unit. I have documents here, many things that I have collected. Still, I have with me. Shadin Bangla Sangram Parishad. I joined them and helped them in different ways.
Okay. Now, how was the village like before 71 for you? How was the village life like?
Oh, it was beautiful. It was beautiful, so pleasant and so quiet. I used to go, when I was living in, although I was living in the
Chittagong
town, I used to go to my village home almost once or twice every week or every 2 weeks. And it's quiet and everyone was friendly. We had a lot of landed property. Now we have gotten rid of most of it.
Why?
Well, because nobody's there. My parents, they are not alive anymore, and my brother, they are now living in the town, and then in the village. Now the situation has changed completely. I mean, it's a lot of insecure feeling, lack of security, and
what kind of security?
Well, especially they come the mafia. This Rathin Chaudhuri, he created mafia. Rathin Chaudhuri. They go and ask for his people, ask for money, this, that, especially on the minorities.
Is it only? That's what I'm going to ask.
Yeah,
Do you think it's more on the Hindu minority than the Muslims?
Yes.
So it's targeted, targeted on them. And you said how far was your village from Chittagong town?
About 15 miles.
How did you used to go there?
Oh, we used to go to, there's a Kaptai Chittagong town route.
Yeah.
We used to take that route, and we had a station called Noya Hat or something. From there, about a couple of miles by walking or by boat.
By boat?
Or by walking.
Okay. What river was that then?
It is called Mogdai
Okay.
River. Nowadays, of course, they have, you can go by car too.
Better routes, okay. Now, tell me about the journey from your village to the border. How was it?
Well, it was, as I said, mentioned earlier, 55 miles, and it took us 3 days, 3 nights.
How many of you were there walking?
We are in our group, as I say, our families were segregated. In our groups, we are some young people of about 7 or 8.
Okay.
So we took shelter in 3 different places, including in the home of some Muslim one night. They were very nice, fed us well. And so on the way, we had a lot of support. Mind you, it was early April.
Okay.
And the Pakistani soldiers didn't go that far outskirt to the village.
What did you eat when you walked?
When we were nothing. Only at the evening where we had the shelter, they fed us well.
Okay.
And whole day there was nothing. No food, nothing.
And in this scorching sun of April, it's very hot.
Very hot, humid.
What happened to your home? Is still there? Home?
In village?
Yeah.
Now it's all, after it's all gutted, put on fire. Nothing was there. And we never...
Somebody set it on fire?
Oh yeah, all the Muslims, when they saw nobody was there, and they were angry and they set everything on fire. That happened to all the Hindus' houses.
Oh, really?
Because all the Hindus had to leave.
Okay.
And we never rebuilt our house in the village.
So when you came back, did anybody give you any compensation for rebuilding your life?
No.
Bangladesh government?
What happened when you came back in the town, the Bangladesh government gave ration for a week or 2.
Okay.
Okay, that was a good help to get us settled.
Okay.
And the village, our town property, by the way, it was taken away by the Pakistani government.
Oh.
But when the Bangladesh became independent, it was given back, and one of our relatives took the possession.
Good.
So we went back there.
Oh, very nice. What was your profession of your father?
He was an attorney.
Lawyer.
Yeah.
Lawyer, very nice. And your mother worked at home? Or
Yeah, homemaker.
Okay, great. How many generations, for example, you lived in your name of the village? I forget.
Gujra. East Gujra. Purba Gujra.
Purba. How many generations, for example?
Well, I learned from my father, as his grandparents were. There were 5 generations.
At least.
Yeah.
And before that, were then probably nearby or further away? Or you no idea?
No idea.
Now, have you really seen during this time, besides your own personal suffering, anybody getting killed, injured through your own eyes? Did you ever see?
No, I haven't seen in my own eyes, but I know my friends, some relatives got missing and got killed.
And you never saw them again?
No, I don't
saw them again.
Right.
And from Chittagong itself?
Yes.
Nearby in the village or in the city?
Well, my own family members also got killed. They took away. One of my cousin, Motilal Chaudhuri, he was active in politics. He was taken away with three, four other people that were there in this early time in March, and never found.
Never found.
No.
So, but I mean, your uncles and aunts, have they given up, or they think he's going to show up someday? Because people often feel like
his parents died already.
Okay.
But his brothers, no, they have given. His wife left, hoping, lived for a while, hoping that he would come back someday. But after, I think, 15, 20 years, and she just accepted the fact that he was.
And she's still in
gone.
Bangladesh?
No, she has died too now.
And
she died in England. Yeah, their children are in India.
Why? Why not in Bangladesh?
Well, they left because after their father had been killed, they didn't have the courage to
stay back.
But later I heard that one of the children went back to Bangladesh, living there.
Okay. You see, there is through your family and other cousins and others, you see constant loss of Hindus from Bangladesh. Why couldn't Hindus fight back to stay? Like Muslims in India who have stayed back. Have you ever thought why we couldn't really struggle and fight and to stay?
To be honest with you, Hindus, we have a bit cowardly feeling. We are not as brave and bold like Muslims, like fighting type. And the other thing is the elite groups, so-called babus, they had money, property. They just left, and there was no one to lead the masses who are of so-called lower caste. I hate to mention the word caste.
I say oppressed caste.
I mean oppressed. Yeah. I mean that's not in my vocabulary. I don't accept that.
Yeah.
I don't accept that. But these people, they are fighting to the extent that they can, and they are keeping the Hinduism alive in Bangladesh. These people.
Yes.
And I have some charitable organization. I help these people, try to do in a small way, whatever way I can. And these are our backbones of our Hindus.
Sure. Now, you also lived in West Bengal.
Yes.
For some time. So, when you go there or when you live there, did you find any difference, or what difference did you find in living? You as Rathin Babu.
Yes.
In both sides, did you find any difference?
Yes, I did find difference. There are two groups of people in West Bengal, in Calcutta mainly. One are indigenous people who are so-called Ghotis, and the East Bengalis. There's always a conflict between them. One day, I tell you a story. One day I was riding a bus, and I was given a free ticket by the then West Bengal government that I can ride free. Then I showed that and didn't pay. And one, I think Ghoti, must be Ghoti, and he was testing my shirt. Oh, sir, you have a nice shirt. How come you cannot pay? I said, then I told him that this shirt is my sister is helping me. She helped me buy this shirt. I'm a refugee, and this guy can't afford to pay. You know what happened? In that bus, 60 persons were originally from Bengal. They're generation. They all started fighting that guy. I said, what do you think you are? We are from East Bengal. You should have support. You should.
No, true. Yeah. But truly speaking, on the other hand, Ghotis were extremely generous for taking us, because most of the now high jobs in West Bengal are taken by Bangals.
No, but anyway, and I have different feelings about that. I don't want to get into that. I don't think they did it wholeheartedly. No, maybe by situation they had no choice.
Yeah, but nevertheless they did it.
Yeah, I should say not the Ghotis, I say Indian government.
Yeah.
The government did it.
Yeah. Now, what about? Do you think anybody benefited because of partition?
Anybody
benefited? Somebody, because of the partition, did somebody benefit? Individually or groups? Did somebody?
I benefit. Oh, Pakistan.
Yeah, India, Pakistan.
Bangladesh.
Yeah.
Pakistan or India, Bangladesh?
No. Originally it was India, Pakistan, and then.
So you're talking about partition in general?
Yes.
I am against this concept of partition. I mean, Indians, civilization is a big thing. I mean, these divisions are created by politicians to meet their own ends for self-interest. I always hated it, and even if somebody got benefit out of it, I resent it.
But do you think
Yes.
Or both the Bengals benefited, or both the Bengals suffered?
I think they suffered.
Both of them.
Yes.
And within that, any group or any individual, some politicians benefited, as you said.
Yes.
All right. But group-wise, nobody benefited.
I don't think so.
Okay. Now, can I ask you? Now, do you think Hindus and Muslims can live together?
Sure, they can. They should can.
But why hasn't they been able?
They haven't, because what happened is in Bangladesh, if you follow the politics of Bangladesh, there is always some vested, ultra right-wing groups. They think Islam is everything. But there is also an elite group, which are progressive, moderate groups. And these two groups are fighting with each other. But India or West Bengal do not have that problem. Hindus are not that religious-minded, or they don't have that kind of, religious view.
So that means you're saying that because in West Bengal is a Hindu majority, minorities can stay.
Yes,
but in a Muslim majority, minorities is very difficult to stay.
Because Muslim religious groups are very strong there still.
Okay, even though all of them are Hindus just a few generations back.
Yeah.
Few
Exactly.
What generations? Few decades back.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Well, 97% of Indian subcontinent Muslims
Are even more.
More.
So at this time you don't see any problem in socializing, because now we live with all kinds of people here.
Yeah.
So is there any hesitation in socializing?
Where, in here in US?
Yes.
I think there are Muslims here who are grouped in kind of mosques and related to those people are still as fanatic as back in.
What about the Hindus? They are also, some of them are.
But as I say, Hindus by nature, they don't have religious, that kind of fanaticism.
Yeah. Okay, I'm almost almost at the end. Now, is there anything else I didn't ask you want to say? Is there anything, any incident or any other thing that I didn't ask? It comes to your mind?
I mean, I want to say, I don't know how much publicity this gets, but I like to say, this is a big war. The legacy of this war, one particular group, Hindus, have been targeted. Women have been raped, and Hindus were murdered in large scale. Unfortunately, there is nothing from the UNO. There is nothing from the Indian government, and there is nothing also from either from the Bangladesh government to commemorate, to do something, to make this as kind of something to memorize in future.
Yeah, or even West Bengal and Tripura. Both of those are run by Bangladesh.
There are many things happening in what happened to the Germans, the Hitler did. There are many things, many memorable things, and that they're creating their building, but nothing in here. And I regret to say that Indian governments, I think, in the name of votes of Muslims, they are overlooking all this and they're not doing anything.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, and thank you for your time.
Thank you for giving me this chance.